left.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark. Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Would be that much of a tit about it?
I'm not. That's just insane.
Say a word.
Literally, Tendu is the first person to be like, "Yo, should I just break the news to him?"
I mean, sure.
Tendu. Nate sold his hardcover of Hoxpox. Like, he was just like, "Get this trash out of my house."
Hey,
Straight up called it trash. He
offered
burned
me-
it. He sold it, and then he burned it and sold the ashes to somebody.
That's true. Hey, when you get offered way over cover price for something that you are probably not going to touch ever again, not because I don't like it, but because I have unlimited, I can go look at it anytime I want to.
Welcome to issue 102, episode 102 of Two Fat Guys Pool List.
Mm-hmm.
Just be forewarned, just getting it out now.
Oh god.
I am a bit under the weather. Actually, I'm on the recovery, really. I'm feeling much better, actually, but I still have a little bit of crap in my chest. And so if I cough or during the show, please try not to be annoyed. I am getting over the thing that shall not be named on YouTube. Was not as bad as I thought it would be, but it was still pretty shitty at the same time. So but we are here, and we are here to talk about this week's pulls. I feel like it was a really good one. I thought we had a pretty decent week this week, and I'm super stoked to talk about it in this week's issue. But before we get that going, we need to talk about some business. As always, we need to talk about our show's sponsor, and that is our LCS Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. They are where we get our comic books and all of our geeky, nerdy stuff. And it's a great place. So if you're in the DFW area, please check out Collected Comics and Games. They have 2 locations, one in Fort Worth and the other in Keller. Mm-hmm. As you all know, usually, or you should know, if you watch the show, their website at Collected Comics and Games is called brainycomics.com. So if you head on over to brainycomics.com, you can go over there and buy comic books from our LCS online. You can get exclusive and variant covers. You can get bundles, bad idea books, new comics, mystery bags, back issues, graphic novels, games, toys and collectibles, and even trading cards.
Whew. Petty just threw an A at you, man. A Canadian A.
Hey, what do I? No, not A. How you doing there, A? Yeah. No, I sound what? No.
No, just probably not. Probably just keep moving.
Bolts and goats. There you go. Oh, there, A. There you go. Got it.
Okay.
Found it. Anyway, back to brainycomics.com. So you can buy all that wonderful stuff over at brainycomics.com, and then before you check out, before you buy all your goodies, type in the search bar 2 Fat Guys Pull List, and this will pop up. It is our 2 Fat Guys Pull List upgrade and premium upgrade. The regular standard upgrade for $8 will get you 1 mystery exclusive comic in your cart and when you get your stuff. So you can do that, or you can do the premium upgrade, which is $15, which gets you 2 exclusive mystery covers. I said exclusive to me. COVID brain. Oops, I said it. So check that out. Put that in your cart. Check out, and you may get one of these cool covers here on the front, or you might get something different. Ron likes to kind of match what you buy. So if you buy something like Batman, you might get a really cool Batman variant cover. If you get something like Daredevil or Predator, or maybe even like an independent comic book like Grimm or Crossover, you'll get hopefully, usually he'll try to kind of cater to those things that you bought in your cart. So head on over to ReadyComics.com, buy some stuff, put the Two Fat Guys Pull Us Upgrade in your cart, and check out and help us support our shop, which supports our show. So that's going to do it for that bit of business. The other bit is, as always, we're talking about our sub giveaway. We're currently on the road to 750 subscribers. When we do hit that 750 mark, let me put this one up here. I need to put this one away because we're not giving that one away. When we hit 750 subscribers, we're giving away the CGC 9.4 graded Silver Surfer Black issue number 1, second printing with Null on the cover. Pretty sick cover here. One of the cooler one of the I would say coolest books from Donny Cates, and from also our creator. Who's the Tradmore? Tradmore is a beast in this book. Oh shit! And so definitely hit that 750. Let's hit that 750 subscription. So move on to our 850, our 950, and then eventually our 1000, where we'll be giving away this CBCS graded 9.8 Amazing Spider-Man number 4. First appearance of Silk, and Nate is the one that came up with this idea to give away this book. So let's all put
literally not true.
Let's clap. Let's put some clappy hands. Let's clap some hands in chat. Let him know how much we love the fact that he came up with this idea and that he supports it wholeheartedly. That is going to do it for our business. And again,
it's gonna be like that.
It's gonna be like that. You know, we're gonna talk about this week's polls. We've got a ton of books this week. I'm surprised that I was able to read all of them as quickly as I did, but then really I didn't have much to do because I was sitting in a house with my family, just not going anywhere. So that was fun, but I got to read all my books and I actually remember everything. So I guess the COVID brain isn't as heavy as I thought it was. But before we do that, we're going to review episode 2 of She-Hulk. Now Nate did not watch it yet, so he needs to watch it. So I'll do a quick review of it. But before I do that, let me read chat. Patty, did you guys watch She-Hulk? It was good, but also too short. Good try, and good try. Quiku, what's up, y'all? Hope everybody's doing good. Comics Joe, She-Hulk review I think was good. Needs to be longer, but between the Easter eggs, Wolverine, and the ending with the Hulk got me bugging. Patty, anyone who watched She-Hulk, is what that dude said in the bar. Something anyone in real life has heard said. There is a hot chick. I'm going to go talk to it. Who has ever said that? Yeah. So let's get to it. She-Hulk episode 2. I agree. I agree with. What did he say? Nate can poop longer than you can watch it. Dang, dude.
It's true.
Anyway, episode 2. I totally agree with that criticism that they need to be longer. And I know that Marvel and Feige stressed that this was going to be a 30-minute show. And I mean, I guess I understand that. All right. No, let me rephrase. I understand. No, I don't understand. It needs to be longer. The show needs to be longer because by the time you get into it, which it doesn't take you long to like, all right, I'm watching She-Hulk. Like I'm already engaged by the time I've seen the Marvel logo, but by the time it's over, I feel like it had just begun. And we do get, I think we do get a substantial amount of content in She-Hulk in 30 minutes, but knowing that all the other shows go like 40, 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour long, it's like you kind of want that. And I'm sure the reason why it's not as long is probably partly the CGI work, because you have a character that is 100% CGI, and a majority of the time she's going to be in that form. So I guess I understand that. It's kind of a bummer, but I get it. But I enjoyed episode 2. I loved all the jokes. I loved all the Easter eggs, the Wolverine Easter egg, the Eternal Easter egg. I loved Jen again expressing humor towards the and acknowledging the audience when certain things happen, specifically talking about Hulk's origin and the fact that it's been played by 3 characters. I think that was really funny. Really dope. I enjoy it. And then again, I'll harken back to it. The CGI has, since Comic-Con, has been a huge improvement. And I was here day one saying I didn't give a shit what the CGI was going to be. I was going to love this show no matter what, because She-Hulk's one of my favorite characters. Unless it was just an absolute trash of a show and the writing wasn't good. But you've got superb writers on this show. I mean, you've got one of the head writers wrote on Rick and Morty, and I'm about it. You know what I mean? Like, so overall, I thought episode 2 was really cool. Getting to know the new law firm, getting Jen established at that law firm, however uncomfortable it is for her, because she's pissed that it's kind of a gimmick, right? She has to be She-Hulk at the firm 24/7 when she's there, when she's in court, when she's in the office. So there's no really escaping the idea of She-Hulk. Now, she didn't have to take the job, right? But she does, because she can't get a job anywhere else because she's too much of a liability. But overall, I thought the tone of the episode was great. I thought the humor was awesome. The guy at the bar, even the explanation about her, like, I can't remember that first line by the guy in front of the court. He's just like, yeah, like, think of a Hulk, but like, she's hot. And like, it was just very, like, you can tell the tones there, and you could just see, like, every scene, you could just see, like, She-Hulk coming in and be like, what'd you say? Like that kind of thing. Overall, I liked it. I think my only criticism would be that it needs to be longer, that the episodes need to be 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I just need more. But we're getting connective tissue to Shang-Chi. We're getting connective tissue to the outside MCU world with these little Easter eggs, which I think is really fun. I think Marvel has a character now that will do really well in connecting other franchises. When we see Jennifer Walters pop up in other movies, it's going to feel fluid. It's going to feel natural, because we're going to have other characters popping up in the show, right? We know that we're getting a bunch of cameos, so it's only going to be natural for her to cameo and or be a supporting character in other movies and shows. So I'm for it. I loved it. Nate, get on it, watch it. I think you're gonna.
My man, I'll be caught up next week.
No, you're fine. All right, let's get to it really quick. We talked about Nate pooping. That's great.
It's great. Always a good time.
Tendu, not a fan of She-Hulk, feels like a real decline for Marvel. That's great. I mean, that's, I understand why you think that. Joe, 30 minutes, but after you take away the credits, only 22 minutes. We review a comic book longer. Yeah, no joke. I also really liked the Easter egg, or not the Easter egg, the post-credit scene. Again, it wasn't as fabulous as Captain America is Not a Virgin, but it's just cool to see, like, I'm glad we're able to just continue to give people what they want, right? It's an excess, but I think it's an appropriate excess of, like, more post-credit scenes every episode. I love that. Like, it's super fun. It's super meta. Patty, we are in Canada though, so I expect bars to be complete. What does that say? Can you read that, Nate?
Apology Central. To be complete Apology Central, just with how much bumping in close contact, it would be a sorry fest. But clearly, I don't go out.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Real sorry.
Sorry. Or in Australia, it'd be like, sorry.
We need to talk about comic books now. This is too long.
Okay. Calvin says Shulk. Love it. Joe, Jim, what do you think about Abomination is referring to the Thunderbolts when he's talking about the 7 soulmates? You think, right? Or is that going to be his therapy group that he's going to be leading? If it's the Thunderbolts, that would be dope.
Dope on a rope.
I'm sure it'll happen. Aaron, this week was a first episode of any of the D+ stuff that I've felt it's too short compliments. This felt obvious. Complaint, sorry. This felt obvious that it was a re-edit of the original plot. It felt all set up. Are you talking about the first episode? I see what you're saying, but I loved it still. Got it.
It sounds like Nemo Seagulls.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Mine. All right. Episode 2, great. Can't wait for episode 3. Let's move on. Let's get to this week's books. I need to have like an intro, like this week's books. All right, so we're gonna kick off the show with our Judgment Day book, X book, right? Judgment Day issue number 3. First off, let's say fabulous Mark Brooks cover, absolutely amazing. I think this is probably the best one yet. I think, in my opinion, even though issue 1 was pretty dope.
He actually did a poll for which 2 characters were going to end up on this character. I mean, on this cover. He said Iron Man goes here. He goes, but I got 2 others. Y'all vote. And it was supposed to be 1. And the vote was so close. He's like, all right, I'm putting both on there because it was between Jean Grey and McCarthy.
Nice.
He was like, nope, vote was too close. I'm putting them both on there.
Nice. Joe says this is his pick of the week, and I will tell you this, Joe. If I had a Marvel pick, like if I was doing Marvel DC Marvel DC Independent, this would be a close tie to my Marvel pick of the week. Close tie.
Not for me.
I know, but I'll get to why the other book is my Marvel pick of the week. But this was an amazing book, right?
It was good.
The best part about this entire book is the switcheroo, right? Is the false event that we get, which is we really find out why you shouldn't fuck with a Celestial, even if it's a new god. But essentially, the X-Men devise a plan to sabotage the Celestial from the inside. And they think they pull it off, right? And then they find out that it was all a simulation. It was all in their heads. They pulled what I like to call the best yet worst scene. And the only reason why I say this is because I was forced to watch these movies in Twilight, which is this happens in Twilight. In the last book or last movie, I don't fucking remember, but there's this really cool scene where all the vampires essentially get killed. And I was like, oh my God. Twilight's actually a cool series because there's all this violence, and then it's the same thing where it's not real, right? Now, when that happened in Twilight, and I looked at Sarah in the theater, I was like, it wasn't fucking real. This movie sucks, right? But it happened in this book, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. So I don't know. I thought it was really good. Tendu, I'm gonna drop X-Men until it becomes more cohesive. X-Men beating the Externals is a stretch for me. All right, we get that. I mean, that's a valid opinion right there. I think I'm so invested in Karen Gillan's world building that I'm just not. I'm in. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, I think. I don't know what I think. I mean, at some point, we're also not talking about them fighting, then, right? Like we're watching them fight like the best of every mutant that there is, like all the Omegas. I do think that there's a little bit of difference in. I don't know. You know how I feel about power gaps and power levels. It literally changes every book, and there's no way to ever hold true to anything.
Right. So overall, I thought. Story-wise, I thought it was there. I felt like it was a decent amount of elevation when it came to story and action, right? Like, I say this every week. I watch a certain reviewer, and he reviews this book, and he's like, it's not for me, it was dull. And then I read it, and I'm like, yo, this book was amazing. I don't understand. Well, no, I understand why he's saying that, because he hasn't read any of the other source material, yet he continues to...
I don't agree at all. It's 100% agenda driven.
Okay, well, for me, because the way he reviews it and how he presents it, I think he makes, in my opinion, makes a valid case for himself because he hasn't read the Eternals run. He stopped reading X-Men. He's not reading Karen Gillan's X-Men. So for me, personally,
it becomes an invalid opinion whenever you go, I watched Star Wars Episode 5, and I didn't even see that Rey chick anywhere. It's fucking dumb. Like, I don't even understand what's going on. Is it like the Empire is winning? What? Who's this guy in a black mask? I don't understand. You don't get to just say, hey, I'm going to throw myself in the middle. Season 4 of a TV show.
Forget it. Never mind.
Be upset that you don't understand.
You know how I feel about it. I feel like you shouldn't just be reading the book at all. But that being said, overall, I think issue 3 has definitely elevated everything that I think. He doesn't make me mad. I like to watch it because there are certain times where he's on point with some of these books. Yes, I saw that. Which gets me to my other point before we jump off that ship, because I don't want to talk about that anymore.
No.
This house style that we're talking about, man, does it pull through in this book. This book is absolutely beautiful.
Well, yeah, it's because we have Valeria Sheedy, who's like essentially one of the 3 creators of it.
Well, and I think that's kind of, I want to establish it now here on, I think we should just name RB Silva, Valeria Sheedy, and Pepe Larraz as like the holy trinity of Marvel right now. Like they need to be
only if you put an asterisk that Marte Gracia has to be part of that team too, because he colors every single one of them.
Right. Yeah, a different interpretation, right? But yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So this, I had fun with it, and I have not yet, outside of a mistitled book, right? I have thoroughly enjoyed Judgment Day, and I want to continue. I just now my only fear is I hope it pays off at the end. You know what I mean? Like I hope by the time we get to issue 6 and all the tie-ins that we feel fulfilled, right? And the last time we felt fulfilled in an event, if I'm going to be honest, is Hoxpox. You know what I mean? Like there have been good events, but there have been like, well, this kind of felt rushed, or I don't know about that, or that, like let's talk about King in Black. It was a really good event, but there were definite speed up and holes that we were like, okay, this got out of hand a little bit, or it didn't do enough.
I felt pretty fulfilled by Devil's Reign.
I did not, but you know why I didn't like Devil's Reign.
Maybe look for the bad things they put out. Yeah.
Wait, okay, let's get to chat then.
Sorry.
No, you're good. When I read that crazy part when he blew up, I thought that DC was rebooting, but hell, they just killed everyone. Yeah, right. Remember my sister watching the vampire dad gets his head chopped off, and that's all I remember of those movies other than the fans. Yeah, no, like I remember when that happened in the theater, and I was like, oh shit, Sarah, like this movie's a little violent, and then like it just all happened in a vision. This is stupid.
Yep. Like, okay. All
yep,
right, buddy.
Quiku, also, do you guys think Destiny is trying to make me join, or make Jean rejoin the Quiet Council? She said there would be no explosion because she knew the Celestials would fake it, and the Sinister would taunt Jean. I would assume that there's gonna be some Quiet Council shuffle at the end of this book, and Jean may come back. We may even lose Xavier, which I wouldn't.
Who pointed that out? That was like one of the funniest parts of the book. Was like, we need another Xavier. Yeah,
right. My biggest complaint is the machine talks too much, makes it too wordy. But besides that, perfect. I think that's great. I think the only page to me that, again, I understand it, right? But now it's starting to get a little like, okay, I get it. Is the page of the 6 humans, right? Like we understand. We understand the purpose of those 6 humans. Those are the people that are going to either die or live, depending on what celestial or what Eternal dies. That to me was a little like, okay, you're taking me out of it. Like I get what you can go. We don't need to be as heavy in this, but I understand it. Stefan, I need another Charles. I need to go back and just do an appearance. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty dope. Comics Jim, find another reviewer. I quit watching him because he made me look for the bad things that he put on his videos. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I probably should. It's like a drug I can't quit, because there are times when he has a really good take, like on multiple books, but then he gets to Marvel and it's just like shit on everything that's not, coming back to a run that I want to see finished, right? Like, yeah, whatever. But then he talks about independent books, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to read that because that sounds amazing. Like he has really good takes on the independent books. Like he had nothing but great things to say about Wynd, and he was 100% spot on it. And then when I read it, I was like, yep, he did an amazing review of it. And maybe he just needs to stop reading Marvel. Maybe that. And I don't, maybe I need to stop talking about it, because I don't want to. I'm not trying to create drama, because
oh god,
I'm not.
Of course not.
I'm just saying, stop reading it if you don't like it. Stop watching it if I don't like it. I don't. It's not that I don't like it. Stop reading it. I like your videos. Just stop doing that. Anyway, Patty, I liked Absolute Carnage a couple years ago. Was that an event? I'm sure it was.
It was. That was probably the last. It was the event that was right before we really fully jumped in.
Mm-hmm.
That was. That was.
It was an event, and that was an amazing event because I did read it. I didn't read it live. I read it, as we jumped in, and I was like, "This is." I mean, that event really helps you understand a lot of his run, the Venom run, and like things connecting to Null. So yeah, that's actually a really good event. But yeah, kind of like a mini event. Ton of tie-ins. Didn't read the tie-ins. I went straight through. I couldn't remember if it was an arc that turned into a mini or got tied into everything, but it was one that blended. Yeah,
it was its own separate event.
Cindy, my biggest problem with this event there was no lead up to it, and suddenly we're in it. Second, with all that might of the Eternals versus the X-Men, this isn't a fight. It's only made into because of the writing. I mean, there was a build-up. There was a build-up. There was a build-up in Eternals. There was a build-up in Immortal X-Men. I don't want to say there was a build-up in Avengers. I think that we had one issue.
No, there was zero.
No. We had one issue. We had one issue where the Eternals went into the base. They tried to. No, there was a time. There was.
Is that in Avengers?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But
that was the issue after Marvel Batman joins the team.
Correct, right?
Nighthawk or Heartfall.
It feels so out of place because everything else feels out of place in Jason Aaron's Avengers run, but it's the one
because that was like a 10-issue run that it wasn't a single arc. It was just like random issues.
Yeah, right. Other. So it just feels completely out of place, but that is an important issue because that's where all this shit gets established. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's how it is.
No, you're right. That was the one thing. I mean, really, I think they're only in this event because of what Jason Aaron did at the beginning, put that Eternals as the base, and so I don't know if we would have Avengers in this event if it wasn't for that.
Right. Quico, I think 6 humans are more than just Eternal Resurrection's fuel, and will be important for Judgment Day of Earth, maybe being the tiebreakers. Ooh, Quico, you're so smart. You got the good takes, man. I'm loving it. All right, next up we got Marauders issue number 5. This is a book that I've been really hot on, and I still am. That being said, at the end of this book, in Quiku, you're on deck, okay? I need to know who this character is at the end. I know it's an established mutant from a 90s run or whatever, and I did some digging, but I wasn't successful in doing my digging for it. I felt like it was very choppy. But that being said, the only thing that really bothered me about this book was the artwork. That we got a completely different artist and it felt very flat. It didn't feel expressive. It didn't feel, it wasn't the same artist. So that to me kind of killed this book a little bit.
I didn't even notice that.
No, I did immediately. But if you put that aside, I thought this book was really fun. And, I think there's a lot of dynamic to it. There's a lot of drama to it. And we're, pushing this narrative again of the original mutants. And I'm ready to see it. Also, I didn't read the data pages in this book. I refuse to read the data pages.
I didn't either. This was too heavy. I don't know why. This was actually a little slow for me. I didn't dislike it. And I'm actually trying to look right now. Did we have a gap in the release of this book?
I don't think we did, but it feels
it
like
wasn't. It wasn't a full gap, but it was July 13th to August 24th. So we had 6 weeks instead of 4. I went into this book going like, wait, where are we? Oh yeah, I forgot they went to the past, but it's like not really I got very confused. But there were some really fun moments, like Nova getting this the symbiote suit was really neat. Warbird getting the symbiote suit at the end, I think that is Death. What is her name? Deathbird. She's one of my favorite, really random peripheral characters that just shows up every 10 years.
Yeah.
But I think that's really cool that she has it.
Joe, where did the symbiote come from? So it came from a couple issues ago. One of the Crimson Knights is riding a symbiote dragon. Like he was able to conquer it. So Cassandra freed it, and then used it as a weapon, which was pretty dope. I don't know. I like it. I remember when Orlando was announced that he was going to write this book, and both of us were like, I don't know. Like Marauders has been really good with Gary Jerry, but like, it was just us still being in our infancy, right? We were still holding on tight to like, it has to be the same writer, and we're obviously learning now that there are other writers out there that can write equal or better work than our previous run that we read. We're super novice. But Orlando's been killing it, and this book is nowhere near from being dropped, in my opinion, for my pool. So keep going, give me more. I'm ready for it. Quiku says she's from X-Men 2099 run and recently appeared in Steve Orlando's Spider-Man 2099 mini, which featured a slightly older Kid Cable. So, but what's her significance?
They do briefly talk about that.
Oh, do they?
Well, they briefly talk about that she got dropped off by a slightly older Kid Cable.
Oh, okay.
They're like, Nathan, he always keeps us on his feet.
But what's the significance of her? Like, what is she?
You read the story and then he tells you.
In what?
That's part
in
of
the book?
It.
In this book?
Yes, you're not supposed to get the importance yet.
But I want to know.
You have to read the book when it comes out. And it's not going to be the next issue. The next issue is Tynion for Judgment Day. So you're going to have to wait at least 2 more months.
God damn it. Whatever. You are cool with Deathbird but hate Kraven?
Well, how on earth are they the same? One's a badass space alien bird lady, and the other one's...
Kraven doesn't have boobies.
I mean, I like boobies. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There's not a human on earth that don't like boobies. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's okay. It's fine.
But that's also not why. I just like... You know how I am about space and aliens and shit like that. Kraven to me is just like... too surface level, just like I'm Bear Grylls on steroids. Okay.
Patty also says this dude had a crazy figure back in like 2008 as Hasbro's first or second Marvel Legends BAF, and that's the only reason why I know this guy. Oh, the guy on the cover, Apocalypse's son. I already like Deathbird better.
Right.
I enjoy the 2099 stuff from Orlando. I guess I should check that out. All right, next up we have Amazing Spider-Man issue number 8. It is the debut of the new Spidey suit, the Goblin-esque suit. I'm gonna say it again. What up, Jaden? What up, dude?
Hey.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but there were very few panels where I was like, the fuck? Like
the art was not obtrusive in this issue.
No, like it was decent. I think you said it once when you first started reading this book. When he's in his Spidey suit, Ramita's on, and a majority of the time he's in his suit.
He can't do plain human faces.
Right.
Like even
there's some faces in this one that are kind of like
Oh, yeah, for sure. But even when Vulture guy is like in his suit, you see his face and you're like, my God, how can editorial ever approve this? And then you see his suit and you're like, well, that's all right. That's not bad. That's pretty good. But like, yeah, other than that, the art in this was really not obtrusive at all. Yeah.
Jaden says, yeah, not a big fan of the suit. Looks like fan art, honestly.
I mean, like the actual design of the suit is whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
I've only been reading Spider-Man and paying attention to him for what, 1.5 years, 2 years now, and we've already done like 4 new suits. Like I'm so like,
yeah, it's like
I don't give two shits about a suit ever again.
It's a new suit every like quarter, so whatever.
Patty, I saw that. I really want to watch it. Patty said before anything, if you guys haven't watched Comic Trope's new video that he uploaded today about John Romita Jr., it's a great, well done video, as all of his are. And I agree. I actually think Comic Tropes is probably one of the best YouTube comic creators out there. Very, very good videos.
Patty says this was my only book I read this week, so it's my pick of the week by default. I got the Detective Comics facsimile and a sick Green Lantern cover of Batman Fortress. Nice.
Oh, nice.
I enjoyed the suit. I like the little spider bombs that infest the Vulture's eyes. I thought that was, I was kind of like, when I saw that, I was like, oh shit. Like I literally, like, you know, that's kind of my standard for like, okay, this book has some values whenever the book makes me say, oh shit.
Right.
And so I don't know. I enjoyed it. I am pleasantly surprised, even though, you know, we're mentioning what happened in the previous Nick Spencer run with the, you know, Norman's sin being taken away by the Sin Eater, which just gives me really bad memories. Overall, I'm still digging it. And Joe asks, this has nothing to do with the book. Nate, you watching House of Dragons? Great stuff. Great start. He will. I'm telling you right now at some point, and he won't tell us, but we'll know. Like there'll be some telltale sign that he's actually watching it, and he won't be able. At some point, he'll crack. Don't worry. I'm not watching it yet, but I want to watch it. Overall, very pleased with this book. It is officially on my pool. Oh my god.
Nice.
We'll see how long that lasts. Okay.
But
I like it.
It's there now, so.
Yeah, we'll see. I like it. I'm liking it. I don't know if it's me just getting over Romita's artwork or if he's steadily improving, but time will tell. So
time will tell. Time heals all wounds.
Yep. All right, Avengers Forever. Talk about wounds.
Yeah. Talk about wounds that you keep picking at by reading this.
Well, here's the problem, dude. Avengers Forever is actually really good. Like it.
Okay, buddy.
Hear me out, dude.
All right.
So, Jason Aaron's Avengers run. The tone, the pacing, the story is all over the fucking place, right? Like it is after the most recent arc, right, which was the Legion of Doom or whatever the fuck, you know, the multiverse Doom Patrol, or I don't know what the fuck they're called. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right. And we were stoked on that storyline, and then he went and said, "I'm still doing this storyline, but I'm not going to tell you at what point in the timeline are we at." Right. And so that's why Avengers right now just feels so discombobulated and gross. Avengers Forever is still continuing that narrative, but we're focusing in on versions of characters in each episode, but it's being done so much better than in the Avengers run, right? In the Avengers run, it's like, oh, here's Star Brand Billy the Kid and Phoenix Six Shooter, right? With no backstory or history being told. In Avengers Forever, we get a flushed out 100% kick-ass story about one specific multiverse version of an Avenger that I care about. And more specifically, this issue is a character that Jason Aaron knows very well, which is Thor, right? When I was reading the book, it felt like I was reading his Thor run. It felt like he knows this character back and front. And so it felt more connected. It felt more genuine. And I've had that sense in the Avengers Forever books that I have been reading ever since it started. And so for me, I think all it tells me is that Avengers Forever should just be the Avengers book, right? And he needs to figure out how to just bring everything into one book and not make it feel Masters of Evil, Multiverse Master of Evil. Thank you, Stefan. So disconnected, because this one feels like, all right, I know where we're going with this. We're clearly going to an event. In Avengers, it's like, I think we're going to an event, but there's just so much shit going on. I don't know what the hell's going on. You know, like you just said, there was 10 issues where it was just random stories.
I mean, I just threw out a number. I don't know if
I know,
many, but...
right? But it's just, there's just no connectivity. It sucks. But this was really fun. This Thor is being constantly tormented by Mjolnir. He cannot pick it up, but it's constantly following him around, and he doesn't know why. And then we come to find out that this multiverse version of Thor is destined to become... I don't want to say he became, because he doesn't, I don't think. And someone correct me if I'm wrong. But it looks like he's on the road to becoming this version's of the MC or of Marvel's or this multiverse's version of Iron Fist. But he's an Asgardian god. So he trains, and how he trains, there's a panel. I'm going to pull it out, actually. Oh, wait, hold on. Don't take that the wrong way. Let's see here. Shut up. I'm going to pull the panel out. the panel.
buddy.
Shut up. Anyway, he's training, and Mjolnir is there letting Mjolnir itself become the training device for him to become this version of the Iron Fist. Look at this. He's beating the shit out of his fists against Mjolnir. Like, it was solid. Like, it was metal. It was cool. And I remember when I turned the page, I was like, oh shit, again. You know, that's what was up. So in the end, he ends up not being, he doesn't become the Iron Fist because the dragon that, you know, the spirit is dead or whatever. So he ends up becoming, you know, the Thunder Fist. It's really cool. And then at the end of it, he gets picked up by the Ant-Man, Tony Stark, and Ghost Rider. You know, hey, let's go to war. So clearly we're connecting to an event. Overall, this book felt amazing. Patty says, like in Kill Bill, 1-Inch Punch. Yeah, like the training montage in this book was really good, and the voice, Jason Aaron's voice comes through better in this book than in Avengers. In Avengers, it's a rushed piece of shit.
Okay, I will read it. I will catch up on it on Unlimited. How about that?
I'm not trying to convince you of anything.
Joe, you do make a really good point. Aaron Cooter with Guru EFX coloring him, that is a badass art combo. So that is one thing that I did like from the very beginning when this book came out.
Oh, gotcha.
The art.
With Donnie on the break and Aaron just knocking back all these Thor stories is wild. I don't know if Donnie is insecure, does that say insecure? But if someone is writing my character more than me, it can be depressing. I don't know what's going on, because the other day it popped up that he's going to be doing a CGC signing in 2023. So who knows? You know, it's not for us. I mean, I know we can speculate all day, but really at the end, it's just not, it just doesn't matter anymore. Like, it is what it is. He's got to deal with this shit. He'll be back when he is. If he's not, oh well, we just move on. Rich, he was kind of Thor Iron Fist without the chi power. Exactly. 2 more years of build up, and then Aaron can have his event. Like, let's just get to it, please.
Let's just go ahead and get there right now, please.
Seriously, like, I'm ready. All right, next up, we've got Defenders Beyond, issue number 2, and this is my Marvel pick of the week.
Yeah, mine too.
This is so good, and I can't believe I'm saying it. Like, after I read it, I was like, holy shit, this is my Marvel pick of the week. You know, before anything, it was my pick of the week until I got to some other books. But dude, like, the combination of Javier Rodriguez and Al Ewing storytelling, it's just a slam dunk. And
I genuinely don't know if there's maybe 1 or 2 other artists that could be doing the art necessary that Al Ewing is asking for this book. I think
Tradmore
is the one I was gonna and who else could do it?
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson could definitely do it. Yeah, he could. Maybe Nick Klein.
Maybe. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't matter. The point is, I think it's no, it's
no, you're right. Javier Rodriguez is kicking.
He's doing
ass.
a great job.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you explain what happened in this book, though?
I don't know if I really can. I'll just say this: somehow Ewing is using big words, yet I am understanding all of it. If that makes any sense, because in the previous Defenders run, he was still using those big words, and I was like, I don't know what we're telling. I don't know what story we're telling. Now, I will say, there was a bit in here where they were talking about the 7th dimension and the 8th dimension, and no. And when he got into that, I was like, oh fuck, here we go. It's starting where, like, you're explaining things that either I am too dumb to, or like, I'm too dumb, or you're referencing things that are just beyond me that I don't understand because I wasn't reading comics at that time. Right. But he wasn't. It's just how the Beyonders speak, right? Like those external. What are they called? What is the Beyonder?
I don't know.
It's one of the beings that are from the Celestials. I don't know. Essentially what it is I think there are 6. There's either 6 or 7 of these Beyonders. who basically dictate multiverse and dimensional being, you know, if they're going to exist or not.
Yeah, like they're the ones that stayed behind after the Celestials were like moving on to new reincarnations of the multiverse.
It's deep shit, and I think what I like about it is like you have the Beyonder who is so tainted, and you can tell because all the other versions of the Beyonder they all look the same except they're wearing different types of clothing, but he is clearly different because he talks about how he was corrupted in Secret Wars 2, which I thought was really cool. But I don't know, I just think the book is more fluid. It feels more like it feels like I can connect to it more with its characters because they're not speaking in like multiversal language, they're just talking.
Yeah, I would say that did get a little heavy like in the middle. Not a lot, maybe only 1 or 2 pages, but
and that was when
pretty intense.
And that's when they were talking, when the Beyonders were talking, like they were outside of Galactus's mom, who was talking about the 8th cosmos. When they were talking to each other, yeah, it got a little like.
But here's the thing: is they were talking about stuff that has happened before in comics,
right? But it didn't turn me off though. Like I didn't get. No. I think what it was, Nate, is that I think we both came to the realization that was right.
Yeah,
I think that's because when they were saying it, I was like, uh-oh. But then I'm like, wait a minute, they're talking about actual continuity, which, okay, I think I know where they're talking about it, which made me feel okay. Like, it didn't make me feel completely, utterly lost, like Defenders 1, where...
Yeah, which, Joe, that is the answer to your question there. He says, compared to the first mini, is this better? Because I couldn't read the first run. I felt dumb every issue. I still like the first one because the art was great, and I felt like it's something I can go back to when I feel like having a challenging day, like read something to try to get it. But yeah, this is much easier so far. Much, much, much easier to read than the first series was.
Right, and I think it's like a double whammy because the artwork is so good and transcendent and cosmic and colorful, and then the story just lines up. And so I'm putting bigger expectations on this book now because it's made its first pick of the week. So Ewing, don't let me down. Javier, I know you're not going to. Your artwork is amazing. And if there's one subject that I think both of us are like, I could do a little less of, but if Al Ewing is going to do it, okay, you have my attention. And we're getting the Phoenix, right? We're getting the Phoenix in the next issue. And
yeah.
If it was any other creator, I think outside of maybe Donny Cates, we'd be like, Donny Cates or Daniel Warren Johnson, I think we'd be like, nah, I'm out. And I'm excited for it.
I did still sigh a little bit when I turned that page. I was like, okay.
I think I felt it in the force when you read that page. That I was like, oh, Nick got to it.
I will say, this is so ridiculous, and I'm sure it will be a turnoff for a lot of people. But when you literally lay down the continuity gauntlet so deep and so heavy that they literally have to dedicate a page in the book to tell you the 8 different things that he's referencing from 8 different books in the past 10 years, that are, or I mean, really, I guess if you go back to the 30 years, talking about stuff that he's talking, I mean, literally, it was like additional reading for this issue, Ultimates 2, Defenders, New Avengers, Secret Wars, the new one, Secret Wars, the original one, Captain America and the Mighty Avengers, Spider-Man Beyond, and Marvel Comics 1000 are all referenced in this single issue to fully grasp what the fuck we're talking about here. And the best thing is, I've not read any of those issues besides Secret Wars, and I still very much understood where we were going.
Exactly. I think you worded that perfectly. So, Lee, if you're watching live or as past episode, this is our Marvel pick of the week. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the button.
That's the gas. Pick of the week.
Stefan, yeah, I actually haven't finished the Ultimates run, and this makes me feel bad that I haven't. Patty
How many cosmic books? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Were you're behind, buddy, or you're ahead. Patty said, I feel like this art could be a Blacklight poster. Also, the new Doctor Strange book is getting a poster, and it looks like a 70s Blacklight poster. and kind of like it's coming November. Yes, that's the Tradmore book, and
He's writing and doing the art.
very excited about that. And you're right,
Very.
that's the art is super similar styles.
Tradmore is another one of those artists slash potential writers that were like, you could do a book about the Hawkeye, and we'd be
Or
like,
Doctor
yep.
Strange. I don't
Doctor
give a shit
Strange,
about
yeah.
that. I don't
I
care.
know you
Like,
don't. I like Doctor Strange, but like an irrelevant character that we never would touch, we'd read it. I would read. What's a character that I'm just like I don't give two shits about? I don't know. Like for me, personally.
Captain America.
Yeah, I guess Captain America. I'd be like, yep, I'm reading it. If it's Tradmore, Daniel Warren Johnson, Al Ewing, Donny Cates. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
No, there's somebody else out there. I'm sure that I'd be like that too. But there's a select few. But anyway, this is a great book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, and I'll stake my reputation on it. There you go. Oh, let's talk about a book that was just a straight a poo poo.
Hold on, before we move on, we got a couple here.
Okay.
Quaker said, "I love how Ewing handles big cosmic stuff. I hope he gets to do an event all by himself someday soon." Yeah, he did get a kind of cosmic event with Empire, but that was kind of fucked up by Dan Slott. So we will 100% blame it on Dan Slott.
And what about you? Yep, go.
I know. I made that point on purpose. Joe, how many cosmic books are out right now? Not a lot. It would be very hard for me to think of them because most books right now, like the first 19 issues of this Iron Man run, of Cantlow's Iron Man run, I would say is massively cosmic.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's not cosmic anymore. Obviously, the Fantastic Four is ending, but it was cosmic. Marauders is the first arc is cosmic hardcore. We're doing the Shi'ar the whole time. What else is active?
X-Men has been jumping in and out of cosmic. Like in Gary Cherry's when his first arc was that gambling world.
Yeah,
but that's
we're not
kinda
going to include that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The most recent, the Al Ewing's Guardians run just ended like 6 months ago. Was freaking amazing. So yeah, there's a fair amount going on. Stephen said, "I love when books give me extra homework. I wish added more references in more books." I do too. That's like seriously, like when they did that, I was like giddy because I was like, "This is exactly what I want."
I'll say this: there's a way to do it though, right? I don't know if this is my bias or not, but I feel like Marvel does a better job of saying, "Hey, go read these things," and not making you feel utterly stupid who these characters are. Whereas with DC, and I'll reference Shadow War, like Earthquake or whatever the fuck the guy's name was that started the Shadow War. Like,
yeah, I don't know, but yeah,
it was done horribly because I was like, wait, who is this? I'm out of the event. Done. Nope. Like, not even like a reference panel. It was just like,
you still read the whole thing though, right?
I did, but it was trash. Anyway,
not trash,
Patty,
man.
I already ordered the poster. I have about 35 unopened comic book posters from my LCS. I gotta make so many friends. Dude, get to it, and then send us a picture when you get it done. All right, next up. Oh yeah, Fantastic Four from Dan Slott. His last issue. It is not the last issue in the arc or in the run, but it is the last issue from Dan Slott. And this is a total and utter waste. Geoforce, right? Yeah. You know what? This is a big ass Geoforce. This is what this is. If you want to talk about a book that just completely throws out the whole tone of their characters in one issue, this is it.
Which is, to me, extra disappointing because I think as a whole, Dan Slott actually did a very good job.
Right.
Capturing the voice of these characters. But yeah.
Well, here's my problem with this issue. We're clearly tying up a bunch of loose ends that he had established in his run that he just didn't get to, whether it was because of the Reckoning War or he just didn't give two shits. So we tie up this long lost sister, half sister of Reed Richards. Surprise, it's nothing special. It's nothing of consequence, at least not yet. Maybe it will be in somebody else's run, but not for Dan Slott, which makes no sense. We tie up Johnny Storm and him becoming non-ultra superhuman torch, right? You know, he gets healed. He basically hands off Sky with no, like, we're not gonna. It's pretty clear that we're not gonna see Sky in any like big role in the Fantastic Four. It's just kind of like, man, she's.
I mean, how can you say that?
No, I think she'll pop up, but we're not gonna get.
I think that was Dan Slott's way of trying to hide his toy back in the toy box because he doesn't want anyone else messing with it.
And I think that's
she
bullshit.
could easily get brought back in.
No, I'm not saying she. I know. I'm not saying she can't, but she. It's just the way he did it. Like you're just saying, like they had such chemistry. He cheats on her, and then it's like he dangles this, mistletoe in front of us. Which also, did you know that mistletoe is poisonous to trees? It's an actual, yeah. Yep.
No idea.
Look that up. Look that up and learn something. Anyway, he's dangling it, right? He's dangling the carrot, whatever you want to call it. And like, hey, they might get back together. And then we get to this issue and he's like, yeah, you're both cured. Johnny Storm goes, oh, here, I'm letting her go because I love her. Like, no, if you love her, you go after her. You're a horn dog and you want to, the way you're being written, you can't be tied down. And I think that's, to me, is silly. We had some character growth and now we're back to being the Bachelor. Some people may like that and that's fine. But for me, if you're going to build it up for 46 issues, you know what I mean? And just to throw it in the trash to me is just super lazy. The other thing that didn't get tied up, yet it seems like it has been in Slott's eyes, is Franklin. And we got nothing to explain what he talked about in the previous issue. And I think it's a total slap in the face to Marvel readers and to the X office, and Slott's pretty proud of himself. I think that's stupid. And the other thing I'll say before I hand it off to you is the Thing's wife, the sculptor. What's her name? Yeah, her.
I can't remember. So
do you remember in the arc where the Wizard was trying to get granted custody of his clone? Do you remember that? Felicia, do you remember that storyline?
When what now? When who's trying to do
the Wizard was trying to get custody of his clone?
Bentley, yeah.
Right. So in that story, she was sculpting the Fantastic Four, right? And we were like, ooh, what's she doing? And at the end of the arc, it was cut to her.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah. She was being controlled or she was in cahoots with the puppet master or some.
That's her dad.
That's her dad.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I completely forgot about that.
Was not resolved in this issue and has been completely dropped. If you're going to tie up every single fucking thing in your run in this issue, it's like that thing didn't even exist. And it has been in my brain since that happened. Like, okay, where are we going? Is this the next arc? Nope. Nothing. Quiku, let me know. And then my last bit before you, do not make us read and buy an overpriced, oversized issue about the importance of your half sister only to have her be just. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being normal, but like the way it was written, it was like, oh my god, this is a huge deal. She's a marine biologist. Move on. What?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yes, I agree. Also, I think the very Deus Ex Machina way that we just sort of here, very frustrating.
Your mic cut out. So what'd you say?
The like Deus Ex Machina sort of way that Johnny was cured is just
right.
Lazy. Kwaku makes a amazing point, which is probably the only redeeming thing about this issue, is that Ben is now no longer unhappy about being the Thing, and that's sort of been his primary issue forever. I mean, literally, in this issue, he is given the opportunity to be reverted to normal for good, and decides not to. I think that's probably a bigger point than most people are probably going to get from this issue, because even earlier in I think it was in Hickman's run where they finally establish a way. Valeria finally establishes a way for him to become once a year, and he has no idea when it's going to happen. And in Dan Slott's run, it happens right when him and Alicia are going on their honeymoon. And then, remember, that's when the Hulk shows up. Immortal Hulk shows up and starts fighting him and whatever. But, yeah, I think that's a really big point, and I think that's great. And actually, I will say that for as much bumps as this run has, and I don't know that I think that this review will do for a good enough for our overall review for Dan Slott's run, but it's had way more downs than it has ups. But the two ups, or one of the biggest ups, I think this version of Ben is probably one of my favorite versions of Ben. And I just like the dude being happy and like seeing him as like a dad and having these kiddos and just generally like good with everything. It was actually probably pretty good writing, but it even hurt me that arc where he was like super mad at Reed because whatever
saw something in the future. Yeah.
Right. So that was a good point, Quickie.
Rich brings up a good point too. Genius marine biologist, clearly that makes her cooler. I mean, I have no problems with the character itself. What I'm upset is with the way Slott sold the character. Like, this is, and then we get to this and it's like, yay, just whatever, and it just didn't have any consequence to me. Patty talking about Alex Ross's FF covers. Yeah, they look fucking amazing, and I'm probably gonna buy every single one of them. And I'm super stoked for that.
What's crazy is he's doing his own book. He gets his own miniseries.
Yeah,
and then he's also doing the covers for the new run. It's pretty
down.
Should have been a sub-revic, but it's all right.
You guys still doing a Dan Slott video on Fantastic Four run? Oh, the overall.
Go.
I think we talked about potentially doing a one-off video, like just overall talking about the run.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to.
We'll think about it. I think right now we're just a little salty right now, so let's just give it some time. Maybe we will later, but as of right now, not looking too hot. But we'll see. Let's move on. All right, let's get into some DC with Action Comics 1046. How was it?
More of the same. No, actually, I think in this issue we got a little bit more pedal to the metal. Like, all right, let's drop the words. Hey, do you remember who's writing? What the guy's name is that's writing FF after this?
Ryan North.
That's it. Ryan North.
Yep.
He's done. I think he had a run on Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, and has done some independent work, and has done some comedy.
Didn't you say he was like a computer programmer that got into writing comics or something like that?
Yes. Yeah. When I was looking him up, his like programming and stuff, and then he started writing.
A Canadian writer and computer programmer. He is the creator and author of Dinosaur Comics.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we should probably. I mean, he doesn't have a ton under his belt. We'll see.
It could be
apparently in an interview too. He said that when someone asked them, like, give us a generalization of how your run's going to go. Like, I'm focused on short, maybe even 2 or 3 issue story arcs, and just doing a bunch of short stories. And I don't know how I feel about that at all. So
part of me is like, okay, but then the other part is like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, we shall see. This could be another painful time to be Fantastic Four fan. All right, Action Comics. Basically, what is it called? I can't remember what the energy is called or whatever. What is it? Kind of. Let me tell the story. The Fire of Olgrun. So, a couple issues ago, we find out that this mystical power source down in Warworld, and if Superman can somehow get it, he will become stronger even than he is normally. He'll be extra super strong, power of a god. And him and the other Phalosian leader get into a fight. That guy almost dies. He's basically the guy that's Superman's second in command, and he almost dies. Superman jumps in there, saves the day, gets him out. His eye gets poked out, not Superman, but the other guy, and is like super gory. Like his like tendrils are hanging out of his eye. It's weird. Like way more hardcore than I was expecting it to be. And he basically is like, "Why'd you save me, Batman or Superman? I can't believe you did this. You have to take over if I die." And he's like, "You won't die, I promise." Then Superman runs off and fights this dude that's the power of Olgrun. It's not really important. He's like power of a god, and if you defeat him, you'll get it. But you can't defeat him just by besting him by strength, but you don't know how to beat him. Superman's just like flying in there like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And he starts beating the shit out of this big giant Norse-looking guy with a big sword. There's a lot of like very, very small, like there's this whole double page spread, no words, big, lots of fighting. And right before it looks like Superman's about to just totally defeat him, he's like, well, if you're not going to beat me, like there's this little girl like ghost thing that led Superman to where he's supposed to go. And he's basically like, I'll take someone with me. And he looks like he's going to go and smash this ghost girl or whatever. And Superman dives to stop it. And like, it looks like he's going to get crushed. And then right at the last second, the hand stops. And it turns out the girl's the one who's controlling him. And it's like, you've proved yourself worthy that you would save me. Just a little helpless girl. You're totally such a good guy. Here's the power. And they're like, okay, great. And so Superman walks back into camp and is like, I got the power. Let's go kick Mongol's ass. And then it turned out that the other guy who gets his eye poked out betrayed him and told Mongol, hey, Superman went to go get the power. Come back up here and come steal it from him. And so now Mongrel is holding the kids hostage. He's like, give me the power or I'll chop off their heads.
Huh?
I don't know. Like that's what happened.
No. I'm not saying what I'm saying, I guess I am, but what I'm saying is it's too fucking long, and I think Cuckoo says it perfectly. I really enjoy World Saga, but it's also a rare occasion where I think tie-ins would actually be good, since it feels like the pacing was very weird in certain parts. It's dragged on to the point where it made me jump off. And so I'm ready for, a new story arc, and I hope that Johnson, and it could be DC editorial, it could be, things needing to line up, perfectly. So they were like, Johnson, you've got 12 issues to to flush out Warworld. But, or it could be just that's how he wanted to tell the story, and that's fine. But there needs to be a lesson learned, because like I want to read it, right?
Yeah.
What happened to the baby in the jar?
Yeah, Rich, I have no idea. I have no damn idea what happened.
Patty, in the 90s, some books got okay. Oh, so this is into the other thing. So let's jump into this. So, as Joe does so well, he gives us our halftime question break, and that is, I saw a trailer for Spider-Man event for Dan Slott. It was motion panels and it looked cool. So, question is, why does the comic industry suck at marketing their stuff for the mainstream audience? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
No, you go ahead and go first. I'm sorry, Megas.
So, I think for me, it's all about money, right? It's all about ad dollars and assets that you have, and I think outside of announcement posters and covers, I think the comic book industry as a whole will not create any other assets that they don't necessarily have to make outside of what the comic is, right? So they use those panels and or announcement posters and just move them in order to get the point across of what the story arc is going to be. And there might also be an attitude, it's just comic book readers. Why do they need, and that's outdated thinking, right? Like, we can just make a real cheap video with some standard music, non-licensed music, and some shitty font types to market an event. Mm-hmm. And my, I guess my response to that, or my answer to that, is step up your game, because the market is changing. Comic books are even more relevant than they were prior. I mean, look at what we're doing now. I mean, we enjoy this stuff, but a lot of this stuff can become source materials for other versions of media, whether it's a video game, a movie, a TV show, another book, you know. So I think as much as it sucks to say what I just said, the truth about it, they do need to step up their game on advertising these books, because they're becoming more and more of a hot commodity, and more people are getting into all of us as a collective, our hobby, right? And buying into, you know, I want to read more of this. I want to learn more about this. I enjoy reading this. I enjoy the artwork. And so I think more of us need to bring up this question. Hey, can you market and create better assets for your material so that we can be even more hyped? I think because at that point you would actually get more people to probably read your book. And the other thing that I don't like in the way they market some stuff is they'll use panels that could be a really cool like surprise, and like, oh, I already saw that, so when I read it, it's not a surprise. So yeah, I think that's my response.
Well, you're the professional, so I think the only thing I would add, I personally think Marvel and DC, which is only the two publishers that I think would even make sense for them to spend them. These are owned by massive corporations. These aren't independent baby companies. These are multi-million getting into I mean, if you're talking about their parent companies, these are billion-dollar companies that own them. And they have really good marketing teams. And I think that they have done an assessment on what their audience is for comic books and have realized that advertising is not the way we're going to build the market, especially, and I actually agree with that 100%. I think that targeted advertising in small ways, sure, but I think comic book advertisements on television, no way.
Oh, no.
Comic book, I mean, we're talking about advertising in general. I would say 95% of modern advertising would not work for comics and would be a waste of money.
Now we're getting into like, what's the definition of modern advertising? So like, I understand what you're saying in the sense of like, yeah, a TV ad would not work, and I totally agree with that, and I don't think that's out of the question. But their online advertising for these books is atrocious. It's atrocious.
I literally don't ever see online advertising for comics.
No, I send them to you.
Weird.
It's trailers to new books. You know, I've sent you like.
But those aren't advertisements. They're links to Marvel.com. That's not an advertisement.
No, but there's always like a YouTube video of like. Let's just use an example. I don't know if there is one, but
that's still not an advertisement though. A YouTube video?
A YouTube video previewing a book? That's an advertisement.
No, it's not.
What is
advertisement? Is I'm watching a episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on Hulu, and then it cuts to the commercials, and then you watch a commercial. Or I'm sitting in a subway in New York, and there's a banner right back. There's an advertisement. Or
well, they do that. They do that
TikTok,
for comic books.
And when you're flipping, one of them is a paid advertisement.
Okay. Well, then I will say this.
You're talking about promotion.
Okay, but that's advertising.
I don't agree.
Promotion is Keep going.
Okay, whose job is this, and who's it? Who literally gets paid to do it?
And that's why I'm getting so heated with you.
Then why do you care about my opinion?
Because you're wrong.
Well, you can prove it to me in a court of law.
I will. Is modern advertising doing legal vandalism on billboards on She-Hulk? Yes, they are, and that is actually really good advertising.
I think it is, yeah.
Well, okay, let's say this then. I think Patty's question opens up for another one. Should comics on a digital platform like Hulu or YouTube or TikTok or wherever, should they be more prominent? And my answer would be yes.
Yes, I would agree.
And so I think DC and Marvel specifically are not they're not doing it adequately enough, or they're not doing it at all. They need to do it. They're missing an opportunity. And not only does it help Marvel and DC, but it helps your LCS. If you're watching a TikTok and a video pops up about Judgment Day, and you see a graphic or a motion graphic of Jean Grey flying through a Celestial's stomach, you're going to be like, what's this? What is this? Is this a movie or a TV show? Oh, it's a comic book? Oh, fuck, I forgot about comics. Maybe I should go pick it up and check it out. Yeah, there's definitely a missed avenue. These companies need to be using these digital platforms to promote printed and digital comics. Just get it done. Shit. I mean, they could be doing it for digital, right? But if you don't own an iPad, then just go to your LCS and pick up the most recent issue of the X-Men.
I think we all have, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. And again,
I was literally about to put a poll, our promotional materials or promotions advertisement. I was going to do a poll.
Well, we don't need a poll to realize that they're not. Kwaku again comes through and gives a perfect example, and he says, I think one of the hardest parts about advertising comics is that a lot of people assume you need to catch up or go back and read everything to understand new stuff. And
that's why you have shows like us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but like, how do you break that?
There's a way to do it.
I don't think there is. I honestly don't think
there's enough money in the world to figure it out. I'm telling you right now, there's enough money to do focus groups and strategies.
Sure, there's enough. The money exists, but is it worth it to these people? Obviously not, or else Marvel and DC would have done it.
Well, and I think there's a missed opportunity there. I think they should, because it all connects back to the shit that they're creating for their platforms and for the movie theaters. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. That's why we got into what we're doing.
Do the poll. So do the poll.
Fine.
We need to move on. We've done 20
I'm not going to do the poll. I think you know what we're talking about. All right, let's get moving on. Detective Comics issue number 3, or I'm sorry, not 3. Well, it's number 2 in the run. It's issue 1063. I can't read it, dude. It's so, I don't like that. That's the only thing. I liked this issue way more than the first one. In the arc, I thought this one was way more fluid and a little bit more suspenseful. And I felt like Ram really came through even more in this book, and I felt like the artwork was really good in this issue. I thought the first one was a little flat, but this one I thought was like, I'm really intrigued. I'm just really intrigued with this whole thing now. I think the first one didn't catch me. This one really did.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like this issue read really fast and didn't tell me very much.
Okay.
Which like it feels like this feels similar to Shadow of the Bat for me. And I loved Shadow of the Bat. So that's not necessarily a complaint. I almost feel like I want to know that it's going to be like that so I can mentally prepare myself, because if this is like a 5-issue arc, we've got a long way to go and do it. We've done very little in these first 2 issues. But I say all that. I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried about it. I have full trust in Ron V to make a kick-ass story. Albuquerque's artwork is phenomenal. And I know you didn't read it, but the Spurrier and Danny backup is really good. It's really great. I
come to that realization.
I mean, I'm still angry about it, but
it's okay.
I already won about that promotions aren't advertisement, so I won't knock you down on this one too.
Should we just need to end the show now?
But I think that's cool. I think doing a backup of, especially of Gordon, who was forever been a centralized character in Batman, who has really been pushed to the sidelines now that the Joker book is over. Still continuing his story, I think is interesting.
I dig it. I'll say, coming back to the comments that you said about, is this how it's supposed to read? I felt like this issue was much more, what's the best way to describe it? It felt right, if that makes sense, right? Like it felt natural to like have that thought, but also be like, okay, this is how it's going to read. Like it felt like it went hand in hand, in my opinion. Whereas in issue 1, it felt like that too, but I was like, wait, we're starting a new thing. What are we doing here? I'm not sure if this is how he meant for it to be written. And now that we're in issue 2 and it still feels that way, I'm like, okay, this is clearly the style. And so I'm hooked. And I really liked the Two-Face, like his evil side, like his persona talking to him when he was like dying on the street. Like I thought that was really, really cool. So I'm excited. I almost feel like this should have been issue 1. Like this to me felt more like an issue, or the issue 1 of his arc than the first one. So let's see here. Comics or Joe has watched She-Hulk while we were talking. So are we that boring? Jeez. Rich says they used to use exposition in comics to help with backstory. Now readers don't want words. They get upset when they're in there.
That's true.
You know, I get that, but people need to grow up. Just read. Now, if you have useless data pages in your book that have nothing to do with the story, then I get mad at that. Joe, I'm warm on Detective Comics right now. I want to drop it, but hoping it gets a little lighter. Feels like a DCEU movie. Interesting. I think I'm going to have to reread this issue. I did not like it. Yeah, I felt like that for the first issue from Ram. So
yeah,
there might be a back and forth there. All right, I Am Robin, issue number 17. This is the last book in the run. Yeah, it definitely had the feels in it for me. Didn't want it to end. I want more Flatline and Robin or Damien. I definitely want that. Like, please bring that back. I'm digging the little romance there. You know, again, I don't have a lot of history with Damien, so my only view of Damien is this run. Is that a good or bad thing? I think it's a good thing because everyone else's perception of Damien prior to this run is he's a little shithead. So I think it's only a positive.
Yeah.
Am I sad that this is over? Yes, but you know, we get Batman versus Robin coming up, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think this probably ended too soon. I think we were getting some really good character growth for Damien, and I think Williamson was a good writer to do it. I think I'm most frustrated because there's no way we're not getting more Damien books, and as a matter of fact, we know for a fact he's headlining an event with Mark Waid writing in months. But I feel like the biggest loss of this book is the cast. I think who the hell knows when we're going to see a lot of these characters. His girlfriend's going off to do her thing back in Tokyo, and then Green Arrow's son's going to go do his thing. We killed off the son of Deathstroke and but
was he resurrected? Wasn't he resurrected?
Yeah, that was a little bit of a weird, like, what, him in the shadows or whatever.
Yeah.
So sure, but who knows? Like, I mean, are we ever going to approach any of that again? Especially with the event coming and then a Tim Drake book coming out. We might not see Damien book for quite a while.
I want a world's
this is his
finest
first
book
book too, I think.
I want a world's finest book with Damien and John.
Damn, that'd be dope. I mean,
Right,
that's just Super Sons, but that would be dope.
I don't care. I want it.
I mean, have you read any Super Sons?
No.
So it takes place when they're younger. It takes place before John goes to the future and gets grown up and then comes back. But
right,
I've only read a few, like 1 or 2 arcs, but it's really good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I like Joe's comment. Did Flatline just break up with Robin without dating him? At least we finished on a volume of manga. Totally. Patty, I want to see what happens with Damien next and hope he gets himself a new suit. I'm sure he will.
This isn't the best suit ever. And it seems like we might get entitled Robin back. If we have a Batman versus Robin where Damien is butting heads with Bruce, I'm assuming that Damien is probably going to get painted in more of the bad light than Bruce is. What I would really like is if it's the opposite. Damien doing probably needs to be done, like investigating Lazarus Island, and Bruce is like, "Restless, you don't understand." Him thinking that he knows better.
Yeah.
Bruce thinking he knows better, and it's about Damien the whole time instead of Bruce. That would make me happy. If it turns out, Mark Waid's writing a story where Damien's being a punk again, like that would be a lot of step in the wrong direction for Damien.
Yeah, taking a step back.
But I think this was a pretty good issue. Back to this particular issue, I think it was a good way to end the run. The run didn't need to end, but if you're going to, I think this was a good.
Yeah, I think, Patty, to answer your question, I think Damien can be, Nightwing 2.0 without being Nightwing. I think he can drop the Robin persona and become his own hero at some point. We'll just have to wait and see. I think it's totally possible. I don't think it would be too hard. next up, we're jumping into our independence, and we're going to kick it off with Aftershocks: A Calculated Man, issue number 3.
We'll go ahead and get the surprise out of the way. This is not my independent or total week pick of the week.
Woo!
It was a good issue. But it was definitely a step down from these 2 issues. The first 2 issues I would give A pluses to. This would probably get a B plus.
Okay.
Still a good issue, but there was what makes the first 2. Jack Bean, our main character, his dialogue with his girlfriend that he's been talking to, and his witness protection officers. And there's very, very little interaction with him in this one. The majority of this issue is his 2 witness protection officers talking to each other, because it turns out they found out Jack's been killing everyone. And they're like waiting for him at a meeting, one of their scheduled weekly meetings, thinking he doesn't know they know, but of course he knows.
They don't know he knows.
And he, because he can't lie, and he told them last week, I will see you next week, he waits until they give up waiting at the diner, get in their car, drive away, and then get stuck. A bunch of little kids crossing a crosswalk, so they can't do anything. And he pulls up on the other side of the kids and is like, hey, here I am. I said I'd be here, I'm not a liar. And he's like, I know you guys are upset with me, but like, they were trying to kill me. And they're like, yeah, we get it, but you can't just kill people. And he's like, well, I am, so
man,
see you later. Even his parole officer or his witness protection guy's like, I guess this means we're on opposite sides now. And Jack basically says there's no sides, only numbers. Where you put the numbers is what matters, or something like that. And then a lot of the issue is the 2 officers talking about how they're gonna catch Jack, and then the mafia guy, who of course is the Key family, who he's killing everyone from. It's the main mob boss talking to his right hand man, saying, "What the fuck are we gonna do? How are we gonna catch this guy? How are we gonna stop him? He's too smart." And the issue ends with basically, because he hasn't been lying to his girlfriend. Him and his girlfriend have that running joke where he always pretends like she's a stripper, and he pretends like he's murdering people, except, or she assumed he was kidding when he, and so now he just keeps telling her the truth because he has to. And she's like, "Oh, you're so funny, Jack. You killed 30 people. Oh, so funny." And he's like, "Yeah, that's funny." I mean, she thinks it's like a joke. It's like funny that he keeps making. Like,
I see.
So it's a good issue. I think it's very. We're gonna see how she reacts to finding out that he's like this guy that's actually in witness protection, that's actually murdering from a mob family.
Yeah.
So overall, still a good issue, but the really intense, witty, smart dialogue that was in the first 2 issues was lacking. So not quite as good.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's move on. Next up, we have Grimm, issue number 4 from Boom Studios. I'm going to go ahead and pick this as my pick of the week because I want our shelf to be as vibrant as possible, but also I think it's worth it for me. I really enjoyed this issue.
Yes, pick of the week.
Grimm number 4. We're getting into the territory where this book is so fluid that it in my brain it works as a show and or movie. Like the way it reads, so like the first 3 pages of how we're setting up the book, our group is teleported to Las Vegas and they don't know how, and then they come to the realization that they think that this is where death, the actual Grim Reaper is hiding out. And like when it's like, oh, we're in Las Vegas, you turn the page and it's like Grim, like an actual TV show. I'm like, this is dope. Like it's just the flow of this book is so on point.
Yeah.
It's to the point where it almost, and I'm going to say this very hesitantly, almost does it a disservice, because when the book is over, I'm like, no, I want more. But there is a lot going on in the book, and it does read heavy, but it's so good and so interesting that's why you get that feeling. It's not because it's short, it's because it's just a really good story. So that's why it's my pick of the week. And this issue was really good. We get a little bit more insight into Jessica, and I think that's her name, Jessica.
It is.
And we learn. Excuse me. We learn why, or no, we learn that Death is actually hiding out in Vegas, which is probably the most like obvious choice, but that's why it works. And we find out, like we actually get to meet him, and Jessica is on the warpath of trying to find out, how she really died, because she's the only Reaper in Limbo that doesn't know how she actually died, and it would appear that there is some connectivity, and some of our characters are coming to the realization that she has a much stronger connection to Death than we previously realized. I'm thinking she's related. She's probably the daughter of Death, I would assume there. And, while this is all going on, the hierarchy in Limbo is after her. She's obviously has Death's scythe. And so now we've got, kill two birds with one stone. We get rid of Jessica, by, capturing her, and she's going to lead us to Death himself, who we've been trying to look for secretly. So that's kind of the hierarchy there. And then, at the end of it, at the end of this issue, if you have the literal end of the world searching for her, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to frame her and get all the other Grim Reapers of the world to come after her. We're about to get like a legit anime arc fighting bosses, tiered level, Bleach style fighting, I think, in the next couple issues. And I am here for it. I don't know. I'm very, very pleased with this book. Stephanie Phillips, we've had some books from her that were like, and then we've had books like this that were like, holy shit, like this is it. Yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed To Shoot For, and I'm glad to say that it's my pick of the week.
Yeah, I would say for me, I would say this book, writing wise, was probably the weakest, I think, of the four. Not that it was bad. It was the weakest for me. But it was almost like Flaviano looked at the script and was like, all right, she needs a little extra, and I got you. Blew it out of the water. The art in this book is my pick of the week for art of the whole week, and it's not even close. Like, it's not even close at all. It's just so good, and it's not only just that I think I like the style is good. I think that the way he chose to, his panel choice, using a lot of really, I don't know, like widescreen-esque, like, really, really thin but long panels with a huge, almost like 2/3 of a double page spread. Use those back to back in the first two, page 2 and page 3, and then that's when you get the big grim opening. And I think that's what made it feel so damn. Was the layout choice.
Is Rico the colorist?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Fucking mint.
This is a good team.
Yep, it's overall a really fun book, and I highly recommend it. I mean, they're still pumping like 8th prints of issue number 1. So if you still need to try to find this book, go for it. And then if you have a number 1, put that shit in a Mylar. I'm telling you right now. All right, let's jump on. Oh, good.
I was just gonna say, Joe said he read the volume of Seven Secrets, and it was so good. And ordering volume 2.
Dope, dude. It's a good book.
Such a good book. I can't wait till Boom comes. The full. They've got to come out with like a big hardcover. Yeah, I'd buy that. And all that stuff.
What would be badass is if the hardcover is a suitcase.
Ooh, that would be pretty dope.
All right, let's jump on to our other Boom book, and I'm jealous that this is your pick of the week, but it's okay.
It could also be your pick.
I mean, it is, but there's just multiple picks of the week, guys.
All right, this is just nothing else matters. This is my pick of the week. Triple better than any other book this week. Not even close.
Yeah.
There are some books this week I genuinely beyond Defenders Beyond. I loved Grid. Loved Department of Truth, which we're going to talk about next. But nothing is as close to this book. And I think the worst part is it's really hard for me to describe why I like this book so much.
I can tell you why.
Why?
Because I know that there was, I'm almost positive, subconsciously or consciously, there was a fear that we were either gonna be felt out of place when this book started, because it's like the second arc, or we were worried that we were gonna get over explained what happened in the previous arc to the point where that the book would have been like, okay, we got half a book of explaining where we've been, and now this is where we're at. And it was like, nah, here we are, let's fucking go.
No, see, I wasn't worried about that at all. I was not worried about that in the slightest.
I was worried we were going to get like
it's
2
hard
panels
for me
left.
to why I like this issue specifically and why I like this book as a whole. It's there's just the what's that phrase? Le je ne sais quoi. You know, like you don't know, like there's just this essence to it that is so hard to. But you're right. This book did a really good job. We're picking up on the third arc, even though this isn't issue 1 and it's got a retitle, which I think I bitched about in our Hall Week video for this one. But we get an opening, little mini story of, again, showing you the dangers of Wynd living in Pipetown. But also we got a little bit of glimpse into Miss Molly and what's her name's dad, which we haven't seen that character.
Dude, she's savage, dude. She was about to kill a drunk guy.
A drunk dude sees Wynd and she's like, nope, he ain't living. Sorry.
Your throat is gone, dude.
And she runs into her daughter's dad, who's a member of the guard. And it's basically like, don't worry about it. I'll make sure he gets home and doesn't talk to him. Like she goes out there with the shiv. And then we get this really, really great, just one little page, introduction page, and then a highlight of what we've done so far. And while this may look like a lot of words, I think incredibly succinct wrap up of what we've been doing so far. And it literally took half a page. Like we're not wasting time,
right?
Doing that. But honestly, I think the reason why this issue was so good is because one thing I've loved about this book is how easy it is to feel immersed in the world. There's been very few comic books that I feel like I am in the world the second I start reading the book. Very few. Like there's no real superhero comic books that I feel like, oh yeah, like I'm on the street with them. But like, and it could be partially because this is more of a fantasy. That's just kind of more my thing. But
right.
We're really getting into the meat of the overall world building here. We've done a lot of personal character building with a little bit of world building in the past 2 arcs. And in this particular issue, it was just a ton of world building, and I thought it was amazing. We're talking about, in case you're not reading this book or can't remember from the previous reviews, you basically have 3 groups living on this planet, right? You have humans, vampires, and fairies. Each have their own kingdoms, and then you've got one town in the north. That's the one where everyone lives together. Besides that, everyone lives separately. We're on our way there to try to meet with one of our characters' uncles, who's the Duke of the fairy city, even though he himself is not a fairy. That's just another smallly integrated town. It's the fairy capital, but they allow humans there too. They kind of allow vampires, but not really. And in the previous, in issue 10, the last issue of the previous arc, the vampires come in and totally wipe out the oldest city of the fairies. It's just this tree that's been around for like 1,000 years. They cut it down, light it on fire, and it's just like thousands of people displaced, tons of people dead. Very, very bad. And it basically causes the fairies to go from, hey, we're kind of nervous, but we think we could maybe do an alliance, maybe we can figure out this, all 3 of the races living together sort of thing, to actually, fuck your shit, humans, you got to get out, we're arresting all, like, we're done. That's the plot of the issue in a nutshell, but the way we tell the story is just, our characters go to a tavern. It very has a Lord of the Rings when our band goes up to the tavern where they run into Strider or Aragorn. Like, it very much reminds me of that. They're sitting there, they hear banter from some people at the bar, talking about, we hear that we gotta get out of here quick because we hear, what are they called? Weird Bloods?
Yeah.
That are like half. The Weird Bloods are about to get in trouble, and humans are about to get kicked out, and it's about to get real shitty for everyone that's not a fairy. I don't know. You tell me how you feel, because I'm just gonna ramble.
No. I think you did a good job. I think it's reading it. I felt completely immersed. I was not at all like, oh, we're starting another arc. It was like, no, we're just picking up right where we left off, and let's go. The subtle details of the character growth in this book are really cool, whether it's dialogue form or visually, like with Wynd himself. Like his nose is no longer, there's no curve in his nose. He's like, it's becoming more beak-like. Like he's clearly changing. I liked the fairy princess basically saying that they can use Wynd's transformation and visual to their advantage in their travel, and they use it really well in this book. I also liked I don't know, it's like continuously world building, yet still using the lore that we kind of know, but we still want to know more about it, right? Like, oh, you're frozen, by the way, Nate. It's just it's a good book. And Empire, I know you're saying you want to read it. Do it. Go do it now. Go pick up the trade. It's 100% a book I think you would love. Tynion is just a freaking master. And there's a lot of lore and history in the book that's kind of explained, but not so much explained in the first two arcs. But it just makes you want more. And I think we're going to get a lot more of it in this third arc. I think you would love this book, Empire. It's an amazing book. It's so much fun. The character building is great. The storytelling is great. The visuals, the artwork is great. And it just picks up right where it left off. And if anything, it's more intense in Wynd, the Thorn in the Sky. Like it's picking up, and it's going 0 to 60 very quickly, but in a very cohesive way where it doesn't feel rushed. And I know that's a very it doesn't make sense to say it like that, but that's what it is. And so I recommend it. Wynd has been fantastic, and I think also this book specifically you can pick this book up and read it and not have to, you could technically pick this issue number 1 up, and I don't think you'd feel lost. I think you could pick it up and be like, oh, cool, this is where we're at. But after you read it, you're going to go, you know what? I know that there are 2 other arcs that I need to go read. So if anything, it just makes you want to read the other stuff after you get done reading it. So, and the other thing that's really cool, I don't want to give away the hook at the end. I think it's really neat. But I'm glad Wynd's back. I'll say that. I'm really glad it's back. And hopefully they've got enough copies to put up on our pick of the week wall over at the shop, because everyone deserves to read this. Rich, every time Nate mentions fantasy, I want to ask about what novels he's read, but I never want to derail the comic talk. Well, y'all can talk at the shop.
I can give you a quick overview. It's all of them. Not really, but I've read like the first third of The Wheel of Time, obviously, as it was coming out. I mean, I read a lot of shit, man.
Yeah, you do.
I read all of Stephen King's Dark Tower.
I know it's not fantasy; it's more sci-fi.
Mistborn trilogy.
Have you finished Dune yet?
No.
Oh man.
Nope, fell off that one.
Get on that. Where was the other one? Joe says, have you guys heard good things about Odin's Eye? It's a 4-issue story. I'm gonna pick it up by trade. I feel like I heard about it, but I did not read it.
Odin's Eye was a bad idea book, so we have it. We just haven't read it.
Isn't there another Odin's Eye book though?
No, it's. I don't think so. I think it's the Boom book.
No, I don't know, because Odin's Eye on Bad Idea is like 6 issues.
It's not.
I literally have it over there because I haven't put it away.
Okay. I mean, do you want me to just prove you wrong now, or you just
yes, please,
like take my word for it?
Odin's Eye.
Fucking caramba.
1 through 5.
5.
It's not 4.
There's no other Odin's Eye on all
I
of.
thought there was though. I thought there was another book.
There is another book called Bear the Eye of Odin. 6 issues.
That's the one I think I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's the one he's talking
It doesn't
about.
matter. Oh my god.
He's
also,
testy.
wait, did we? Yeah, my kid just came in screaming, so
Yeah, I get it.
got my hackles up. Did we? Empire, bro. This book, 1,000% right up your alley. 100%. You need to be getting these trades right now.
Yep.
And I'm gonna keep hounding you till you do it.
Definitely Wheel of Time is definitely my favorite. Mistborn was awesome. And then Patty says, I love how we hear Nate typing this time. Dude, he has the loudest keyboard in
I do.
all the land.
My bad.
All right,
Also,
Department of Truth,
yeah,
issue number 20 from James Tynion, another good book from him. This is kind of, I wouldn't say a reset, but kind of like an overview book, but it's still damn good and makes you question the entire purpose and identity of the Department of Truth within the concept that James Tynion is writing right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we were ever confused about who is the good guy, fuck, don't know now.
Right, and it's gonna. I just feel like it's gonna constantly shift as this book continues. I know you said, what book did you say the artwork was? Was it the book that Graham? You said Graham's artwork was the pick of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to contradict you because the artwork in this book was just.
You can't contradict my opinion about my personal beliefs.
But yet I'm doing it. Department of Truth's artwork, I think, was a little better.
So you're telling me I think Department of Truth is better than
yes, that's
Grim?
what you should be thinking because you're wrong. The artwork in this book was way better. It was. I know when we first got this book, we both were like, I don't know about the artwork in Department of Truth, and now we're like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just on another freaking level. The artwork in this book just takes you on a damn journey where there are times. Well, first, let me talk about this. This book is essentially the Black Hat organization explaining their side of the story to Cole's husband, who is now potentially being recruited. I don't know quite yet if that's exactly what they're doing. To get them on their side rather than side with Cole, who is with the Department of Truth. That being said, the artwork in this book is just wicked crazy. It's trippy. It's the line work in it is so jagged and unnatural in the best way possible, and then the coloring is just out of this world. And then, I know Nate would say that the lettering is just, it's top notch. There's not a lot of people, I think, in the industry where the lettering is this exceptional. Usually that's kind of like the last thing somebody will say about a book. And in here, it's kind of up on the forefront, like it's as fluid as it is with the artwork. The artwork is super fluid. And so is the lettering, and how you read the book and how it's presented to you via the lettering, I think, is very important for the continuity of this book. It's what makes this book so special. And I think, I don't know if Tynion has a finger on the beat, but like at some point we're going to get some kind of reference to what we're currently dealing with in our political climate in this country and in the world. I'm sure he will make some kind of reference to it. I feel like it's only fitting. So I really enjoyed this issue, even though it's quite literally a review issue. It's literally telling us where we are since 20 issues has dropped, essentially. So I think I say it every time this book comes out. If you're not reading Department of Truth, I'd highly recommend it. I think it's a really cool character and cool character study, and also a character study of our current time and how people get wrapped up in shit to the point where they've got blinders on, and all they see is what they want to see. And this book is a very on the nose to that concept, but not to the point where it's I don't want to say the word offensive. I think it's thought provoking, if that makes sense. Like it makes you think in a good way, critically, if we will. I don't know if that's taboo to say, but I think that's where this book kind of lies. But that's my 2 cents on it. I'm gonna wait for Nate to come back and see if he can add on to any of what I said, even though he didn't hear any of it. We'll just have to wait until he gets back. But chat, let me know. Are you reading Department of Truth? If you're not, why not? Is it just, do you think it's too complicated, or is it just your pool's too thick? Let me know down in the chat, because I am all out of words until Nate gets back, until we get to our next book, which he didn't read because he didn't get it, which kind of stinks. I don't know if he didn't get it because he just forgot to put it on his pool, or if it just didn't get put in his pool. But the next book we're talking about was pretty fun too. But let me know in the chat. Are you reading Department of Truth? What do you think? Do you think Tynion is like one of the best writers ever, or do you think he's overrated? Joe, you're reading it, but you're only reading it in trades. I totally get that, because we're pretty deep into it. I think Department of Truth is one of these books that we started reading fairly early in our little comic book journey here. I feel like I should collect the trade if I read this. No, I would agree, Patty. Issue 1 probably is probably one of the more unattainable books, I think, in my opinion, because it's been rumored that this is going to get picked up as a show. So like issue 1, cover A, is very hard to find. Rich, I got Department of Truth late. I have issues 1, 2, and 4 on my desk. Oh, there you go. Put them in a Mylar. Do you have anything else to add to my thought-provoking thoughts on this book?
I was gone the whole time with a very, very,
well,
very
you knew what I was going to say. Go ahead.
No, I think I really enjoyed this issue because of how I don't know. While it did seem like it was filling in or I don't know, catch up of what's going on, but it way more felt like filling in the background, like really cementing the background and giving you perspectives of things we've been given, or telling you events from a different perspective. And I think that's really interesting. I think that the idea that the Black Hat could not be this awful menace, and that maybe the Department of Truth is not as good as we think it is a perfect flip for this book.
It's like the Black Hat's kind of like the middleman, right? Because they were also, I mean, they had a connection to the Department of Lies, or the Ministry of Lies, but we don't know, like, were they working with them, or were they just kind of using them to get to the Department of Truth? For some reason, I thought that before this clarification, I always thought that the Black Hat were the Soviets, but it's clear that they're not. They're kind of like watching these two sides fight, and they're just trying to figure out. I don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know shit, right? Like at the end of the day, Tynion can be like, well, there are no good guys, or the good guy is the moon. I don't know. Right. We just don't know. But
yeah, super
dope book. All right. This one will be quick because you didn't read it. Issue 3, and it's not that you didn't read it because you didn't want to. You weren't given the opportunity to pick it up, and that is issue 3 of Public Domain from Chip Zdarsky. We find out what the first son, what his deal is, why he's in trouble. He has a gambling problem, and he's got a gambling problem with sports bookies. And the first couple pages are of in the past when he was in college, where he got about $10,000 into debt, and he was about to get his ass kicked by a bunch of henchmen essentially. And his dad shows up and pays for the debt, but then he ends up beating up the guys because no one puts hands on my son, and so it's implied that he beats him up. So then we cut to the present, and we find out that he's doing it again. He's in debt with the same bookies, but now he's on the floor for $60,000. And he's got a week to pay for it. And so he's kind of using this opportunity with his dad to get paid, so that I think he can get that money. And what we find out later is, he ends up, the son ends up meeting with the publisher, the head of the publishing company that publishes his dad's work, and essentially tries to bribe the son to take a much smaller amount, to just drop it. And the son, smart, being smart, he records he doesn't record the entire conversation. He has his lawyer on the phone during the entire conversation. So, they're not necessarily scared out of it. They end up having they come to where they don't go to court, but they settle. They like meet in a room.
Yep.
Whatever that is. They end up having that, but
settlement?
It's just settlement, I guess. Yeah. So they end up having that with the comic book company or the publishing company with the dad and the wife, but the sons aren't allowed to go in. And they end up settling. And somehow the publisher knows how much the son owes. So when they settle, the amount of money that they actually settle on is 100% 60 grand. So that's going to the son. And she makes a snarky comment about how that will help pay off any family debt. And she looks at the son. So she kind of has like an in on that. But the other thing, and this is frustrating to him, to the son, like, no, you should have gotten more money. But what we find out is that the father has the publishing rights to the character. Mm-hmm. And so that's the big settlement. And the son's kind of like, fuck. Like, you could have gotten so much more. Like, I think that's what he is, so kind of a bit of disappointment when it comes to that. So that's kind of this issue in a nutshell. Where it goes next, I don't quite know. But it was a good read. It read very fluid, and it felt natural, if that makes sense. And I'm still digging it.
Yeah, I need to go get this issue. I don't know how I missed it. It wasn't on my league, even though I'm still subscribed to it.
Weird.
So,
yeah. Joe, really good issue. Chip needs an outstanding writer award for Daredevil, Batman, and Public Domain. I agree. Wait a minute. Does comics creator even get awards? Yeah, don't they? Don't they have awards for that?
Comics creators. Yeah.
The Eisners, right? Isn't that what it's called? The Eisners?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, there you go. Ooh. All right. Last book of the night. Radiant Black, issue number 17. Fuck. We've been like, you know what? I think we're gonna drop this book, and there's a part of me that still kind of wants to, but this issue doesn't help that argument because we've got some genuine hookage in this book. And it's at the very end. In a nutshell, Marshall and Nathan are sharing the Radiant Black suit, and they clearly have fucked with the time continuum multiverse timeline, and our yellow Radiant is kind of a future seer.
Yeah.
And there's a problem with them sharing the Radiant suit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's about it. There was a cool part in this issue where you think Marshall's dead, then he's not dead, and Nathan gets the suit, and then they like start fighting where they both can't be in the suit the whole time, or like in the power, but it jumps between them instantaneously. Have half the suit on each of to punch the guy, and that was cool. I dropped this book.
Oh, so you're gonna drop it even though that
already
is
did.
Pretty crazy.
I dropped this book this week. It's already done. I dropped it.
Well, so you did it before you read it.
And I am after reading this issue, I am more happy than with this issue. I just can't do it anymore. My pull list is too big. I would rather towards something else. We're 17 issues in, done, and.
Okay.
And we got 2 pages of robot dude in this book, and I was like, "Fuck no, we're doing robot shit," and then it just wasn't. It's the same thing. You've been doing this to me for 17 issues for almost 2 years now. I've been riding this boat, hoping I was going to get this cool cosmic story, and I can't do it anymore.
Don't read Kwiku's comment. Don't read it, or you're gonna want to get it because I think he's fucking right.
I'm guessing Marshall is that evil Radiant from the future army.
So
You know what would be awesome is if this book gets great and I have to go searching for the back issues to get caught up. That wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. But I
understand. That's fine. That's okay. Here's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it. I'm saying it now on August 28th, 2022. I'm giving it 3 issues to get to 20. And if it has not substantially pedaled to the floor, like gotten to cosmic robots and this whole war, and they even mentioned the Massiverse in this book. They talked about other characters that were set up, and I was like, we're getting a little bit of. If we don't get to that in the next 3 issues, then I will be out. I'm right there with you, so we'll see what happens. I got a tickle in my throat.
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't know.
what? No.
I feel like I should have more to this book, but I think because I was reading it knowing it was my.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I didn't hear what you said, but I know what you're saying. Anyway, God, I think I've talked too much. Anyway,
He's dying.
Thanks. Well, hold on. Joe, Nate, as a fellow Cowboy fan, what's your prediction for this season? I'm hoping the Cowboys can break the streak for a back-to-back division champs. It's been 15 years since that's happened. Before you say anything.
Fuck you.
Y'all's division is trash, so don't worry. I'm sure you'll get it. Okay, go ahead.
Joe, maybe we should message separately about this because I don't want to. We might rip the channel in half here. No, I sure. How do I feel about the Cowboys' chance winning the division? I feel pretty good.
Yeah, you should.
I don't. I guess the Eagles, are obviously the only close, right? Like the Washington football team and the Giants are just not. Nothing's gonna happen there.
It's the Commanders.
Oh, did it change the Commanders?
It's straight up Commanders now.
It's
still trash, but
yeah, I don't care. But yeah, I sure we'll win the division. Good enough for Jerry Jones to slap himself on his own ass and say I did a great job, and then we lose the division round, and then it's the same thing as it always is, right? Like we were already. I'm a pretty neutral Cowboy fan. Like I realize, I'm not the kind of guy that goes, "This year's our year." Cowboys, I think I assess them pretty fairly.
Yeah.
I feel pretty pessimistic about this season, just because Dak can't move like he used to, and he has no protection. He has very little protection. His blind side might as well just be open, especially with Tyron Smith going. So
I wonder how many people have already tuned off the show because we're talking about sports.
Probably very few, because it's the most successful, valuable sports franchise on the goddamn planet and has more fans than any of the other football teams.
So what?
Literally, America's football team. That's not even debatable.
Okay, we're not going to get
official name given by the NFL.
Have you done, Joe? You are breaking this channel. Anyway, Quiku asks, what books are you guys most excited about for this upcoming Wednesday? You'll have to find out on Tuesday at 4:30 Central Standard Time.
Don't be like that.
That's pretty good. It's a really small week.
It's a really small week. And I'll be honest, the only book I'm not looking forward to is X-Men. House of Slaughter. The previous issue was horrible. And so I really hope it gets good. The issue 5 of Knights of X, which is the end. I think it's going to be great. Obi-Wan, okay, good. You get the end, finally the end of War World Apocalypse. Thunderbolts is the last book I'm getting, which it's Monica Rambeau, so it's going to be good.
For me, let's see. I've got Amazing Fantasies 1000, Ant-Man 2, Knights of X, Obi-Wan, X-Force, and X-Men. I'd probably say Amazing Fantasies 1000 because there's it's a Peach Momoko cover that I'm picking up, and 2, there's a Jonathan Hickman story in there that I really want to read.
Yeah, I can't throw $8 at that book. I'm just not that interested.
I don't. Let me say this one thing, and then you can jump in. I do not understand the overall hypeness of Philadelphia. I just don't get it. I don't, like you said, like, there's Philadelphia that you might have to worry about. I don't quite understand. Like, I look at it as a whole, right? I look at your division and I'm like, I think you guys got it in the bag.
I think, well, sure, but they unquestionably have the most talent out of
but that's
the
not
other
saying,
3 teams.
It's not saying a lot. It's just not saying a lot. No, I'm telling you right now.
It's about as weak as your division, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll let you pretend like your division's strong.
It's not strong, but we
You
dominate
have
the
Cowboys
rest of
2.0 with the Vikings. The Bears aren't shit.
And Detroit's just awful. But
yeah,
we
Jared Goff
dominate
is their quarterback. Come
we
on.
dominate the rest of the NFL too, so it doesn't really matter.
You literally
I
don't.
can't. Yes, we do.
You have won one Super Bowl in your life.
How many Super Bowls?
In my lifetime, 3, more than your team. Thank you.
No. Yeah, but you were like itty bitty when they won.
You were for only one. You only remember.
And I remember it.
Because it was here. It was like 10 miles from your house.
No, I was actually in Abilene, and I really wanted to go because I was in college at the time. Let's okay. Thanks everybody for watching our show.
Joe, you're right. I will take the easy win, New England. And you're right. Tyron Smith being hurt sucks, but what's new with him? The issue is not what's new with him. It's they didn't do a goddamn thing to back it up. They knew he can't finish the season. Why do you not have some?
Dude, Patty said he watched the Super Bowl once, and he broke his appendix burst, and it broke him for a while. Damn, son.
Did watching it cause your appendix to burst? That's pretty intense.
Joe, don't start this. Don't start this, Joe.
That's true, right? Literally 3 of the top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all.
Yeah, whatever.
2 tiny rings for it.
I don't have a ridiculous business owner as an owner of my team that just hypes everybody up every year.
Literally everyone hates him. There are like probably 3 people in the whole planet that think Jerry Jones is living is a good thing. Like literally,
you hate him, but you love his product. Anyway,
it's not his product. That's the thing. What I love about the Cowboys has nothing to do with Jones.
We need to end this show. We're not a football.
I don't have control over it. You do. I'm gonna sit here and talk shit about Cowboys and Jerry Jones until you make it go away.
Thanks everybody for watching the show. We can't wait for you to see our new comic book day video, which was previously recorded last week when I was like super sick. So don't be like freaking out that you're seeing me super sick. I'm gonna sound way shittier in that episode than I do now, but I'm much better now compared to that video. So just be prepared for super sick James in new comic book day video because we pre-record those. So we'll see you on Tuesday for our new comic book day video for the week of August 31st. And then we'll see you here live that next Sunday for new comic book day, or not new comic book day, for us reviewing those very small books. Also, one of the books that we had already pre-recorded for that show got taken off my pool. It got pushed back like a month.
What
so
was
we're
it?
gonna have to
the Scout book?
Yeah, the Scout book.
Yep.
So there's that. But anyway, we'll see you guys here live next Sunday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time for another episode of Two Fat Guys Pull Us for issue 103. And if any comic book news breaks, we'll try to make a video about it. And we love hanging out with you, chat. Thanks for coming out, talking to us, whether it's about comics, whether it's about football, whether it's about whatever else. But just know we appreciate every single one of you that comes here live to chat and every single one of you that watches us as a past episode. We cannot do this without you, or we would just be 2 guys talking to ourselves on the internet. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, give us a like. And as always, fam, be kind to one another, no matter what football team you like, no matter what soccer team you like. And as always, or baseball, any sports team. I know that can be very edgy.
Yeah, let's talk about baseball. I'm way less intense about baseball.
Yeah, for sure. As always, fam, read more comics. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
And baseball is better, by the way.
I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with what sport's better. I like what I like, and I don't got a problem with baseball.
As long as it's not the Yankees.
I don't give a shit about the Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals.
Albert Pujols. Yes.
You know the St. Louis Cardinals are my dad's like favorite team.
Well, your dad used to be a good man in my head.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. He's got the Packers and the Cardinals. Why St. Louis? You got family
Because he
from
used
there
to
or
live
something?
there. He used to live
Oh
there.
my god. Well, he's lived here forever. He's
Dude, did you just see what Patty said?
no, see, he's
Oh, he's joking. You should have let that
Joking.
hang for a little longer.
hey, Patty, you've. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
What? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna. He just said he doesn't know anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's just kicking stones. That's good. We'll see you guys later.